Hello, this short video lecture is going to cover social media, specifically a couple of key aspects that I wanted to go over with you. Uh, Before we even look at social media as a tool, marketing communication tool for that matter, we need to be looking at the audiences and which platform is best to reach key audiences or our target audience for that matter. Facebook, of course, is the biggest social media network. It has about half the world has a Facebook account, over 3 million people. Sorry, 3 billion people. And one thing to know about Facebook is that its fastest growing segment is 55 and over. And younger audiences have left it in a way. They haven't closed their accounts, but they have stopped using it. So that's something to really remember when you're considering using Facebook as a social media platform for your business. The next one down is Instagram, which has grown a lot, as we all know. It actually covers every demographic in fairly equal segments. You've got, as this chart indicates, we got the 18 to 29 group. We have the 30 to 39, and we have 40 to 49, and even 50 to 64. So it's fairly evenly distributed. It's Facebook, or I'm sorry, Instagram is a really good tool for marketers. Instagram advertising does really well, and it tends to target well. LinkedIn is for business to business, and we really want to focus on them if you have a business to business brand. So that's something that the largest audience area there is 30 to 39. Young business executives, young business people have, or those looking for their first job or internship, have LinkedIn accounts. So it is a good way to reach audiences, but remember, it's more business to business. Pinterest is another interesting platform. You notice it's got very similar distribution to Instagram as far as age demographics. Important to remember, though, that about 75% of Pinterest audiences are female. So if you want to reach a female audience, that's a great way to do it. Reddit is another popular platform these days, and it's got a fairly even distribution, less of the 50 to 64, but a lot of the 18 to 39 range. Snapchat's another one, tends to skew younger, and much less so with the 50 to 64 group. TikTok is the fastest growing of all of these platforms. At least it has been over the last couple of years. As you all know, many of you have TikTok accounts, and so you're familiar with it. It's got a fairly good distribution across most of the age demographic, except perhaps with 50 to 64-year-olds, which you would expect. And Twitter, can be used in multiple ways. It can be B2B, can be B2C. When I say B2B, I mean business to business, B2C, business to consumer, of course. And so the reason I show this slide is to be a efficient marketer with social media. You have to really understand who the audiences are and choose the platforms that fit your business the best. Now we're going to move into another concept. It's called the 80-20 rule of social media. Now, when I say the rule, when I use the term 80/20, people get a lot of messages. Some people think it's the Pareto principle, which means that 80% of your problems come from 20% of your products, or 80% of your sales come from 20% of your salespeople, or 80% of your sales come from 20% of your products. So that is how you use the Pareto principle, but that isn't the 80/20 concept I'm referring to here. This is a mix. This has to do with a mix of content that a business posts on their social media platforms. The mix should be based on research, should be 80% informative or entertaining or useful. And in other words, adding value to the audience's experiences. And only 20% should be direct selling. Facebook, or when it first was introduced and really became strong in the early 2000s, I remember specifically realtors, and everybody had to get involved. Everybody had to say, Facebook or social media is the new thing. It's the new shiny object, and we need to use it. We need to leverage it. So amateurs got involved. Businesses, I remember a realtor getting involved and post all this realtor did every day was post their homes that they have listed. And I just noticed, it was a friend of mine, and I just noticed that as the days went on, they lost more and more followers, because not everybody wants to be sold to all the time. Most don't. And that's why we use this 80/20. Now, when I say 80/20, I'm not talking about a specific ratio. I'm talking about, it could be 70/30, it could be 65/35, just as long as most of your content is informative, entertaining, or useful, and only a minority of your content is selling. So I'm going to go over an example of this on the next slide. But for now, I wanted to mention that if you look on the right-hand side of your screen, this large pie chart, this is for community managers. And as you know, we don't call social media managers a social media manager. We call them community managers. So the idea is that is to curate a community and build a community around your brand. And that is what audiences expect now. And so the social media community is something that needs to be, the right content has to be posted at the right time to attract that community. And when you look at this chart, and this is what is mostly out there in the marketplace, the green part of the pie chart says that 70% of content for most businesses or most brands is safe content, and it's generic safe content. And that doesn't really engage your audience. It's safe, so you're doing your job. If your job as a community manager is to check the box that I did my job today, okay, that's what you will do. You will use safe standard content, repeat things over again. If you have a somewhat popular type of message, you keep using it. But what I'm here to say is that if you really want to engage your audience, you need to step outside of that safe standard content into more risky type things. And I'm going to show you that in the next slide. But risky, I don't mean risk the company's or the brand's image or their reputation. I mean just thinking outside the box, trying new things, trying new techniques in social media. I've always found that community managers that have a smile on their face when they are posting content tend to do the best job. Why? Because they're creating. And so that's what they do. They are thinking outside the box. That's the content that tends to break through the clutter to the next level. So, and there are times when you're going to use the 70% variety, which is safe standard content, but try to think towards moderately risky, and I'm not talking about law breaking or anything like that. I'm just talking about thinking outside the box, maybe using something that's more entertaining, an entertaining approach, perhaps sometimes a fun approach, a funny approach, something like that. So the right mix is the key. And so I'm just really going to focus on the 20 here, not the 10, because that's getting hard, risky, and complicated. I'm not sure you want to go there per se, but think about that when you think about this pie chart reflecting your social media content. Now we go to the next page. I'm going to focus on that 80-20 rule I mentioned. And we're looking at beer brands here. These beer brands, we got Stone Brewery, we have Ballast Point, are two brands that have changed a lot through the years. Ballast Point was bought out by a larger brand, but they have kept their identity as a craft beer, excuse me, and Stone Brewery has not sold out. They're still a craft beer. You may notice that Stonehenge Brewery, with them, I used Stone Brewery as sort of a model for that. So you probably figured that out. So we're looking at different approaches here. The two on the left are standard of non-risky forms of content that are really promoting their brand. They're promoting the product. They're not informing, entertaining, or offering interesting content. They're just selling their product. And this thing over here, they're selling they're talking about they're selling one of their products. I don't know other products, but they're selling them here. Selling one or two of them here. And it's basically boring, and frankly, it's boring to me anyway. And they're just selling their sell. That's the 20% variety as noted here. That's the selling, promoting type post. And look at the amount of interest in it, which is almost nil, and stands to reason. Okay, they're showing me a beer, whatever, and their audience moves on. Then you look at this one in the middle, and this is Ballast Point, which is a competitor, and they're showing something here which they're bringing in Halloween. It's October 31st, and they're bringing in Halloween into the mix. Notice these are static. These are not video, and we'll talk about that a little bit in a few minutes. Video is the key right now in social media, but these are just static posts. So that's for exemplification, it's the best way to do it. They're showing a beer which really doesn't tell much of a story here. I don't know what this is doing, but they're showing a skeleton. They're saying it's Halloween. They got a little more engagement than they did over here, but not much more, because it's kind of hard to understand, hard to figure out. So you got to be clear with your messaging. What are they trying to show here? What is it? And so they sort of missed on that one, but they tried. Okay, they tried to step outside the box, didn't work. Here they stepped outside the box on the far right, and it really worked. So you're looking at it's Ballast Point again, and again it's a Halloween theme, and it's reminiscing the calm before the storm. What beer are you dying to bring back? Obviously, they're using that as an operative term because it's Halloween. You're looking at a skeleton. Is a really cool picture. and he's you know, Ballast Point is a nautical theme, and this guy's steering the ship and through a stormy sea apparently or something at night. It's a ghost ship, tells a story, right? It tells a story. It speaks to Halloween. If you look at the amount of engagement here, and if you look at the other side, the comments, look at the amount of comments, and that will tell you a lot. You know, you're looking at 217 comments, so a lot of engagement here. They stepped outside the box. They were being humorous and timely and drawing in the holiday, the Halloween holiday, all those things, and it led to much higher engagement and much higher. So you look at 217 comments, which is really what you're looking for. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about building an audience and giving the audience what it wants. They don't want to be sold to. They don't care. They may look, but they don't care. Here, they want to be entertained. So be thinking about that if you ever have the role of a community manager, be thinking about stepping outside the box, trying new things, have a smile on your face when you do it. So that's the 80-20 rule. Now, I'm not going to show you all these videos, but this one I strongly recommend because it shows the importance of videos, video vitamins, they call it. Kind of a stupid name to me, but it's actually a pretty good video. It shows it's timely, it's current, it shows the importance of video and social media. And it makes some really key points that when you're posting video, you have 3 seconds to get the attention of the audience. 3 seconds. So you got to do that, and you got to make short videos that are to the point, especially if you're promoting your brand. Longer videos, audiences tend to lose their attention, their interest. So fairly short videos. Remember, you got 3 seconds to make your point, and there it is. Now, I also recommend this video on hashtags. This is a short overview video on the importance of hashtags and how that drives engagement with different audiences. It's really important. And it's every post for a business should have hashtags. There's a lot of bad hashtags out there, frankly. And those bad hashtags are, like hashtag cool, hashtag awesome. There's a lot of content out there, and a lot of community managers that don't know what a hashtag is and why they use it. So I recommend you watch this as a broad overview. Then you can watch this one, which is from Hootsuite. And this is a little more specific information on hashtags. So I'm going to ask you to watch these videos on your own. That would be really good. And the last point I want to make is what drives user interest? Well, user-generated content, UGC, is really important. So UGC is where the audience is encouraged to post their own content on your social media platform. And in doing so, other audience members see that as they know it's user-generated content. They pay more attention to it because it's not created by the business or the brand itself. So I recommend encouraging user-generated content. It will gain traction, it'll gain audience, it'll gain engagement, all the things you want as a community manager. And when I say community manager, it may be your role in your business to do that. So you're putting on the hat of a community manager, whoever's doing the job. So I recommend that. The last thing here is talk about user-generated content. No brand uses it better than GoPro. GoPro's entire social media world is 100% user-generated content. So watch this short video on one example of that, and that will be good for that. So I appreciate your attention here, and we will see you in the classroom.